Hello traders, welcome to Apex FX. It's Alan right here again, and I'm super excited to have you here with me today. In this video we're going to have a look at the market once again. You know how we do it, and we're going to look at what to expect for the new week and mark up possible entry zones where we can expect to get some good setups for the coming week. So if you are new to this channel, click on the subscribe button and don't forget to turn on post notifications so you won't miss out on my subsequent videos. Now if you've done this, let's head straight into the chart. Alright, welcome back. So you know how we do it. We're going to be starting from DXY. We'll be seeing what has happened so far in the dollar in the course of the week. Then we'll know where to pick it up for the new week. We had NFP on Friday, which was yesterday, and although the NFP was positive, so it was a push to the upside for the dollar, and every other currency paired against the dollar dropped massively yesterday. It was some good trade because I got some entries during the NFP as well, and it's really something that I've been looking out for, and it was really a good one. So quickly, let's move in and see how it's looking now. So DXY still remains bullish. Remember, we marked up this weekly zone, this weekly demand zone here, hoping that price will come to tap into it. Then we see a push to the upside. So this week has pushed up and closed as a massive rejection from this demand zone. So this looks very much clear that market is still bullish, and we are going to see higher prices on the dollar. Now I have this zone marked up here, the monthly supply zone just up here. That's about 116,500. I'll be expecting the dollar to push as high as 116,500 in the weeks to come. But let's break it down to the daily time frame to see how it looks like. Okay, so as we can see here, we have a very clean structure here. We had the break of this previous high, then the dollar started retracing for some weeks. Upon this retracement, and we tapped into this higher time frame key zone, we can see the massive rejection from there. Now we had a bullish engulfing pattern on the daily time frame. This is a buy signal, which signifies bullish intent in the market. So what we can see now is a push to the upside, and the way it's moving, we can expect this daily high to be taken out next week, and a possible push to the other zone where we marked up from the weekly time frame. But first of all, our target is going to be taking out this daily high that we have here. But so far so good. The dollar looks heavily bullish, heavily bullish. Bringing it down to the 4 hours time frame, just to look at the structures carefully, we can see here when they tap into this zone, we're already experiencing some clean flips here. This was the 4 hours flip we had here. Upon the flip, we had a little consolidation somewhere here, and after the consolidation, a break of structure, thereby leading to the break of our daily high here. Now with the break of this daily high, we may just experience a little pullback here, then a buy continuation to the upside. This is going to be my first target right now. I'm going to be targeting price to come back to this zone. Then let's see how far we can be expecting price to go. So that's about 250 pips thereabout. We can be expecting about 250 pips from the market, or even more in the nearest future. So basically what I'll be looking out here, it's going down to the lower time frame and studying the order flow and just flowing with the market as it moves. Alright, so let's move to Euro USD. Euro USD, on the other hand, tapped into this shaded zone here, this gray zone, which we talked about last week, and we saw a rejection from there. But we already marked up our weekly supply zone here, and as we can see, price tapped into that weekly supply zone, and we have seen a major rejection from there. Now this already signifies bearish intent on the market, so we can expect lower prices on Euro USD in the coming days or weeks thereabout. So I'm going to be targeting as low as 0.95000 as my target on Euro USD. We'll be expecting a massive drop down to that zone. Now let's break it down to the daily time frame and see how it looks here. All right, so on the daily time frame, remember this trend line we drew out last week. Price has pushed back into that weekly supply zone, and also that trend line tapped into it, and we had this nice pattern that formed here. Now this is a bearish pattern that has formed here, and upon the formation of this pattern, we can see how price has been dropping down very smoothly. Now we can already see massive bearish pressure on the market already, but if we break it down to the 4 hours time frame, we'll see the way structures are already forming. So upon the tap into that zone, we already had this is more like a failed swing here. Price failed to break above this new high that was created, then thereby leading to the break of this H4 demand zone here. We can see where this demand failed, and upon the failure of this demand, we had a little range here before a new break of structure to the downside. So basically, I already have a zone marked up here on the H4 time frame in case price decides to push back into this zone, but before I drop to the downside. But my focus is not just going to be on this zone, because basically as a trader, what you need to learn to do is react to the market, be a reactive trader. But we're still going to have this zone marked up in case price decides to come back there. But on my 15 minutes, 1 hour thereabouts, I can already see structures forming here. For example, this was a break of structure that has occurred here, and we had the retest that has occurred here before this push to the downside. So if I see a break of this new structure, upon the push here, I'll continue to look for entries to the downside. Now, if we see here, we have trend line liquidity resting here, so we are rest assured that price is going to be pushing downwards to take all this liquidity resting here, because basically what push price in a particular direction is liquidity. That is what fuels the market. So you just keep looking for keep following the order flow on M15 and H1. Just keep following the order flow and keep flowing with the market. But if for any reason we push back to this zone, we're still going to be looking to take shots from there. But basically what I'll be doing is following the order flow, just like I have done all through the week, and it was a great week for me. All right, so that shows that Euro USD remains bearish for quite some time. All through next week, we'll be looking for sales to the downside. So let's move to GBP USD quickly. GBP USD as well tapped into this supply zone that we marked out here, the weekly supply zone, and upon that tap, we also experienced this massive rejection from that point. So let's break it down to the daily time frame to see what's really going on. Now, upon the tap into this weekly supply zone, we had a good rejection pattern which formed from there. This already signifies bearish intent on its own, and the next 3 days followed with massive bearish candles to the downside. Now let's push it down to the 4 hours time frame to see the structure clearly. Now on the 4 hours time frame, this is that weekly zone we pushed back, tapped into a previously unmitigated, not unmitigated per se, but a previous support now turned resistance, and we saw a massive rejection from there. This is where the flip happened on H4 for me, and upon this flip we had this H4 zone that was marked here, although price didn't come back for this H4 zone. But on the lower time frame, I think the 15 minutes time frame, we're able to see a hidden supply just somewhere here, and price tapped into that hidden supply and pushed down. Now even without that hidden supply, we can see that we had a fair value gap here. That's an imbalance. Price already filled 50% of the fair value gap, so there's high possibility price may not come back for this H4 zone anymore. But if it comes back to that zone, we'll still be looking to short, but my focus is not going to be on that zone now, since we already had this imbalance filled here and we've tapped into a lower time frame key zone. I'll just be expecting push to the downside from there. Now as we can see here, to support that, we already see a new break of structure that has occurred here. Let me mark it out so it will be clear. Now this is a new break of structure that has occurred here. So basically what I'll be looking out for, maybe we see a little retracement, then a continuation to the downside. Now we can see liquidity resting below these previous lows, this trend line liquidity here, so we can expect lower prices based on this bearish order flow that we can see on the H4 time frame now on GBP USD. So basically we'll just keep flowing with the trend, keep marking up our 15-minute key zones, and keep riding the trend down to about 1.03000 or even lower. Okay, let's move to gold quickly. All right, gold on the other hand tapped into this key zone here, this demand zone, and we saw a massive push to the upside. Now last week, remember I said that this push to the upside could possibly be a retracement back into the supply that we marked up here, and we can see how nicely that supply held. Upon the tap into our supply, we've seen a massive rejection to the downside. Now let's break it down to the daily time frame to see the structure clearly. Okay, we can see that the trend still remains heavily bearish. We are still making lower highs and lower lows on gold. So gold pushback tapped into the extreme POI here. This is the extreme order block we have here, and upon the tap into the extreme, we can see a hanging man form there. The hanging man is a bearish pattern as well. For the formation of the hanging man, the next 2 days were completely bearish. Now let's break this down to the 4 hours time frame if we can see anything nice. Now on the 4 hours time frame, we can see a failed swing here. Price pushed back, tapped into this supply that we have here. Let me mark the supply out for it to be clear. Now price marked into this demand, not a supply. Upon the tap into the demand, we pushed up but failed to break above this high that was created here. Then we had a flip. Upon the flip of this demand, we had a mitigation of that zone with this indecision candle here. Then the market closed bearish. So if we push this down to the lower time frame, let's check the 1 hour time frame here. We can see clearly price broke structure here, thereby flipping on the H4, tapped into this key zone. Didn't really tap into the POI clearly, but we had an imbalance there which was filled as well, which already makes it valid. Then we had a massive rejection from that zone to the downside. So what I'm going to be waiting for next week is the break of this new low that has been created here. Let's mark it, wait for the break of this new low, then upon the retest we can expect lower prices. Now I can see something here. I can see a previously unmitigated demand here, so that's going to be my first target, about 1660.000. We're expecting a break below this zone, maybe a push to the upside just to mitigate it. Then I'll be expecting a drop up till about 1.660.000 thereabouts. Okay, so that's going to be it on gold. Let's move to US oil even as we conclude for the day. Now last week I said US oil has come into a critical zone that we should be very careful about. Now it's this monthly demand zone that was created here. Now let's move it back to the monthly to see it clearly. Now this is a very nice monthly demand zone here. It's also an order block because it led to the break of this high that we had here. So price tapped on it, and we can see some massive bullish moves to the upside already. Now let's take it back to the weekly time frame. On the weekly time frame, this week closed heavily bullish. This has already formed a morning star, which is a bullish pattern. So this already signifies bullish strength in the market, and we can expect higher prices possibly on US oil. Now I can also see trend line liquidity resting here, so there is high possibility that market is going to be sweeping the whole of this liquidity here. Now if it sweeps this liquidity, I have this zone marked up here, this unmitigated supply zone. Let's mark it up. So there's high possibility for price to come back to this supply zone. That's about 115.000 zone, or even higher than that. Now let's push it down to the daily time frame to see this clearly. All right, so on our daily time frame, the structure is looking really beautiful here. Now we had a sweep of liquidity below this previous low here, thereby tapping into this POI. Now after tapping into the POI, we had a rally to the upside, a pullback, then finally a flip. This is where our H4 flip happened. Unfortunately, price did not pull back enough to tap into that zone. I believe if we go to our lower time frame, we may see some hidden demand zones here, which price mitigated from before pushing higher. Then we had a new break of structure here, and this was the mitigation here. Clearly this is the supply zone. Price tapped into it and pushed back to the upside. We had a new break of structure somewhere here, mitigated here again, then pushed back to the upside. Now let me clear this so that our work doesn't look dirty. Now that we have seen everything here mitigated, so price may not necessarily have to come back to those zones anymore. So this is the zone that we have here, and that's the zone that led to our daily break of structure. This box here signifies our daily high, and that was where our daily high was broken. Now upon the break of this high, this was the move that led to the break of structure. A week on this time frame signifies an order block on the lower time frame. Since this is the 4 hours time frame, that may be a 1 hour order block, or 30 minutes, or even 15 minutes. So with this week here, we may see price push back a little bit, then a continuation to the upside. We have this massive imbalance here. Price can as well tap the 50% level here and push upwards. If we move to the 15 minutes time frame, there may be a hidden demand here where price can react from. So just watch out how price reacts from this 50% level or back into this 4 hours demand zone that was created here. Any of them can work, but I would really love to see price push at least 50% or back to this demand before I'll be hoping to take trades or take long opportunities on US oil. So that's going to be it for today. We're going to see how the market progresses within the week, and if there's any need for an update, I'm going to be sending it on the channel. Once again, I want to thank every one of you for supporting Apex FX, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on your post notification. So until I come your way again, I wish you good luck and good trading.